I have quite a lot of unplayed games. These are just the physical version. I mean, in general, I have a lot of unplayed games, but I tend to collect JRPGs and Otome games specifically, which are pretty large games. Like JRPGs can usually easily take you 80 to 100 hours to finish like the main story per game, but somehow I love them and I keep collecting them, but not really finishing them, or I haven't even started them at all. But it is a genre that I do really enjoy, as well as Otome games. I love Otome games too. So I kind of wanted to talk about my entire collection today, specifically about the games that I haven't played yet, but are definitely on my radar. I really want to play them. And maybe you guys can also tell me your opinion on these games and which one you would recommend me to pick up as soon as possible, or like as one of the first ones. So I will have some help, you know, because sometimes I just feel paralyzed by all of the choices I have and I end up just playing some more Animal Crossing, you know what I mean? But yeah, we talk a lot about cozy games on this channel, so if you enjoyed that, definitely make sure to check out some of my other videos as well if you're new here. But RPGs are definitely like another genre of games that I love so much, and I love both Western RPGs, I would say, and specifically Japanese RPGs too. So that's what this video is focused on. So I have a whole stack of physical games that I want to go through, but I also have a lot of digital games, and we're gonna focus specifically on my Switch games for this video because there's a lot of good titles out for the Nintendo Switch and I've been collecting those. And who knows, maybe there's also some games that weren't on your radar yet that you're now interested in picking up. So we're gonna start with the physical games that I have before we move on to the digital ones, and then I'm also gonna split them up between RPGs and Otome games. So if you don't know, Otome games are basically like visual novels, but they're very heavily focused on like the more dating aspect of the game. So you usually have a couple of people whose story you can follow, and then you can also sort of like see the romance develop between the main character, the heroine, and the hero, the love interest basically, or it could be the other way around, you know, genders could also be reversed. Also, this is a very interesting genre of games. Your choices matter. So if you make a wrong choice, you could have a gruesome end to your storyline and you get a bad ending, which can be a little stressful, but there's plenty of guides out there. So let's start out with the RPGs on my list. So the first one I have, I think, is a very popular one, and it's Persona Royal 5. I have never played any of these Persona games before. I honestly don't really know what to expect. I just know they're very well loved by a lot of people. Ex-colleague of mine really recommended this to me, and then I saw it was on sale one day, so I decided to pick it up. This is on my list to play pretty soon. So on the back, it's saying change the world, prepare for the award-winning RPG experience in this definitive edition of Persona 5 Royal, featuring a treasure trove of downloadable content included. Oh, that's cool. Don the mask of Joker and join the Phantom Thieves of Hearts as they stage grand heists, infiltrate the minds of the corrupt, and make them change their ways. As far as I understood, you have this like group of friends. Not sure if you can also like date or stuff in this, but I know there's like this huge story that takes up a lot of hours, and there's like side quests as well. It has a lot to do with the psyche, and I believe they can sort of like telepathically get into the minds of others, and those are dungeons. Correct me if I'm wrong, that's what my colleague told me and how I understood it. So that sounds super interesting. I definitely want to pick this up soon. I'm just like a little bit intimidated by it. Next RPG on my list is the Caligula Effect Overdose. This was just one, I think I saw it on Food for Dogs channel. She was talking about it and she really enjoyed it. I was like, whoa, I love the art style for this, and I put it on my Christmas wish list and my mom got it for me. It probably won't really focus, but it looks super pretty. Also, the inside of it has some really beautiful art. So that was my main draw, and I believe this deals with also kind of more like psyche stuff. I'm pretty sure this has something to do with like Freud. But again, I have no clue. I didn't look into it too much. The back says that a rebellion stirs in the false paradise of Mobius. Gather your fellow students, rise up against, is that the pi sign? And return to the real world. So you're stuck into this virtual world. You can meet new Go Home Club members, ostinato musicians, and a playable female protagonist. Oh, let's go. I love that. You get to build your attack, so it has like a special attack system too. And there's a forbidden musician route, which presents new story paths and an alternate ending. So I don't know. I have no clue what I'm getting into with this one, but it sounds super cool. And I love the fact that your sort of like choices change the outcome, or there's like alternative endings. That's so cool. Next, we have two Fire Emblem games. I have these more like, I don't know, like hack and slash kind of game, Fire Emblem Warriors, which I did start a little bit of already, and I did enjoy it, although I was slightly confused. The battle system for this one is completely different from the like standard mainline games, I guess. I guess it's a little bit of a spin-off because it's like Warriors, the Warriors series, and Fire Emblem are like doing a little crossover. So the back of this is in Dutch, so we'd have to translate it, but it's saying that you can follow the storyline of this royal set of twins during their epic journey to save their kingdom. You get to choose your favorite character. There's over 20 iconic Fire Emblem heroes to play with. Like, you get to destroy complete armies and also think of strategies to turn these difficult battles have them go your way. Oh my god, it's really hard to translate this on the spot. So yeah, it's basically just more or less, I feel like, turn-based combat and more hack and slash, but really interesting, and I love the graphics for this too. And it was so affordable when I picked it up. Okay, sorry if the angle changed a little bit, but my camera battery died. So moving on to the next Fire Emblem game that I have, this is Fire Emblem Three Houses. This was another Christmas gift by my mom. I love her for feeding my addiction and collection. This one is another, it's almost like a classic Fire Emblem at this point. I feel like there's already at least one or maybe two new ones out, but I have yet to play this one. This is more like the like the original Fire Emblem games. I have played one on my 3DS back in the day, and that's how I got interested in the franchise. I personally really like turn-based combat, so I guess it depends on the type of person you are, whether you would like this or not, but I actually really like it because it will give me some time to really think about all of my choices and try and be strategic in it. I'm not saying I'm doing a good job, but it makes me feel more calm. Like, I have some time to think about the consequences of my actions. It's also what I really like about Baldur's Gate 3. So this is definitely the type of combat that you have in these series, and then there's tons of different really beautifully designed characters. The unique gimmick with this one is that you in the beginning get to choose which house you're gonna join, and that's also kind of gonna impact the way your story is gonna go. So I started playing this, then I got freaked out about which house I was gonna choose, and so put it down. So if you've played this, let me know what house you chose, because I think it also like impacts the dateable characters that you run into and just a kind of snippets of the story that you get to see. So I would really love to know which house you chose if you've played this one. But yeah, it's on my list to continue playing. So this one is a little bit of weird outlier here. It's Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I have the first and the second one digitally, so I'll mention them again once we go to my digital RPGs that I own for Nintendo Switch. Then somehow I ended up with having this one physically. I think it was on sale, so I was like, okay, let me just buy it physically. And now I feel a little silly that I don't have the first two physically, but it would be even sillier to buy them physically, right, when I already have them digitally. Yes, it would. I have this one, obviously haven't played it. I started playing actually both the second one and the first one. So the second one I played like 3 years ago, and then I think last year I started playing the first one again, just didn't continue it. So even though I'm very interested in them, they also intimidated me a little bit. Specifically, the combat system of this one is very complicated for me. I feel like it's not something that I can play when I've already had a busy day at the office. I'm super tired. I just want to relax during the evening, which is when I get most of my gaming time in these days. I don't have enough brain cells left to think about the combat system too much, but we'll see. I think it's maybe not as bad as I'm making it up to be, but these games are just beautiful, and the third one looks amazing. Like, all of the characters look stunning. I know there's several like DLC for this as well, and the world is just beautiful, and I've heard nothing but amazing things about the story too, so I'm very, very excited to get back into these. And then my only physical Atelier game is Atelier Sophie 2, The Alchemists of the Mysterious Dream. It looks so cute. This was another one that I randomly found on sale, and I really wanted to have it. It also came with a cute little poster that I have in one of my clear file things. So I am currently playing, not currently, but I started playing the first Sophie one, so I just decided to buy this also in anticipation of finishing the first one, which I haven't done, but I love it. I've played 2 Atelier games and I love Sophie the most so far, so I am happy I have this. I just need to finish the first one before I can play this. If you don't know, the Atelier games are basically this almost like magical girl kind of RPG. So usually you play as one of these set protagonists, and each installment has their own main character, right? So in this one it's Sophie. You become an alchemist. The alchemy system is different in every installment of the game, which is very, very interesting. You have to sort of do these little puzzles to make ingredients and then just continue on with the story and do these side quests as well. And each game has a different world, a different story, and different side characters too. And I have to say the design of these characters is just so pretty. They always look so, so cute. Okay, and then on to a couple of physical Otome games that I have. I don't have too many because I've been buying most of mine digitally when they're on sale. you know, I can't resist a good sale. So the first one I have was also a gift from my mom, is Code Realized Guardian of Rebirth. So this is a very classic Otome, and I'm glad it was a gift because I don't know if I would have bought it myself, mainly because I'm not personally a huge fan of the design of the characters, of like the love interest. They don't look great to me, but this one is so pretty though. I'm still very interested because so many people love this one. I feel like it's just such a staple, such a classic. I have to play it, and it's set in this more like steampunk world, which I think is very, very interesting. I do really like steampunk, so I'm interested to see more. So this is a steampunk version of 19th century London. The main character, Cardia, has a poisonous skin, so I believe she's like poisonous to the touch. And if you touch her, you'll kind of die, which, you know, is gonna throw a little wrench in any sort of romance, perhaps. So I'm excited to see what this has in store for me, and I know lots of people do love this one. A classic one, although I do believe, yeah, this is actually part 2. This is Piofiore Episodio 1926, which I believe is either is just a full-on sequel or is like a fan disc. I think it's a full-on sequel. So like there's a difference as far as I understood in Otome games where something can be a sequel, so the story just continues, it's like a whole new game with a new story, or it's like a spin-off thing where it's even more focused, I think, on just like slice of life, their daily life, maybe their romance, like maybe a little smaller. So if a game is really popular, it will get like a fan disc or it will get a sequel. I'm pretty sure this is a sequel, but correct me if I'm wrong. I bought this one physically because again, it was on sale and it came with these really cute character cards that I didn't grab right now, but it just had like pretty cards of all of the love interests, and I was just like, oh, okay, let me grab that. Even though I've not played the first one, it's so popular, I own it digitally, that I feel like I'm just gonna love it, hopefully. Oh, and maybe I should tell you what this is about actually. So again, this is an Otome game, and this is set in Italy, and I think it's, well, early 1900s, and I believe these guys are in the mafia. I definitely know there's one very morally questionable character in there that lots of people do love. I just want to see. I want to see what it's all about. And the last Otome game on my list is one I was just really interested in, even though it doesn't have like the best reviews, I believe. It is like this really cool fantasy themed game, and I love fantasy themed stuff, and especially love if you can date like these fantasy creatures. And this is Dairoku, Agents of Sakuratani. Just look at this. Isn't that so pretty? The game is not in here because I have it in my case currently, because I do plan on playing it relatively soon. The character design for this is just amazing. Oh my god, are you kidding me? They're so pretty. And the back says, oversee worlds of wonders, able to see what others cannot. Agent Shino Akitsu works for a secret government organization monitoring powerful beings who travel between realms. Part gatekeeper, part travel guide, she does her best to keep those otherworldly individuals from getting into interdimensional trouble. Doesn't that sound so fun? I don't know. I can see so many scenarios in here that are gonna be really funny or cute, and I'm just so excited for this one. Okay, we went through all of my physical games that are on my list to play either RPGs or Otome games. Now let's move on to the digital ones. I've already hinted at some. There's definitely quite a list there too, especially for the RPG ones. So let's start with those again. So my digital RPG games on my list. The first one is, like I said, Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2, so I won't spend too much time on that. I already talked about it. The first and the second one, I have them both digitally. I think they're both like the definitive edition or whatever. Oh my god. We have, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 Atelier games on my list of digital games to play. So the first ones are Ryza 1 and 2. The way I cannot wait for these, and I'm forcing myself to play the older ones first because I'm just scared that once I play Ryza, I won't enjoy the older ones as much, although I don't know if that's true. So I'm trying to keep myself from playing Ryza. I even got as far as like the starting screen for Ryza 1. I was like, no, I should finish Sophie first. Stop this, because I have a terrible habit of starting stuff and then not finishing it. So Ryza is still waiting for me, although I've heard nothing but amazing things. I know so many people love Ryza specifically, like Ryza as a character, but also just the games, the new mechanics they've introduced. I saw that, I think in Ryza 2 you can like dive and swim. It just looks so fun. I can't wait. But yeah, those are there. Then I also have Lydia and Suel. I have Atelier Sophie, which I'm currently playing. I have Atelier Ferris. Then I have this sort of like spin-off game as well that is not really reviewed that well, but I still decided to get it because it was on sale. Very weak for a sale. It's called Nelke and the Legendary Alchemists. Nelke is a very Dutch name, but I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. Maybe it's Nelke. I don't know what it's supposed to be in English. I'm sorry. But in this one, you just have like this sort of spin-off where you see a lot of the protagonists that have their own games are also characters in this one. You have to sort of run this shop. It has more of like a shop mechanic, and I believe not many people love this, but it just looked so cute. I want to try it out anyway. So that is it for all of the Atelier games that I still have to play and that I own digitally. digitally. Then I own very randomly this game called Mega Dimension Neptunia 7. I don't know anything about this series. I'm also not entirely sure why I have the 7th installment, so I do hope you can play these without playing any of the older ones. Probably saw this in someone else's video, then I saw it was on sale and just got it. So let me read the description for you because I have no clue what this game is about at all. So on Steam it's saying new challenges are taking control of game industry and Neptune's nowhere in sight. Now she's got to help a mysterious stranger fight a colossal new evil, reclaim her goddess title, and find some time for potting. Go next gen with giant battles and multi-worlds in this JRPG. I have no clue. I don't understand anything about this. So please, if you know, let me know. Should I play any of the older ones first? I think I just wanted to get this because the characters are really cute. And I just want to like play as them and they have cute little outfits. No clue if there's any older games that I should be playing first. So I should look into that before I pick this one up. But if you know, please do let me know as well. And then we have one more game that is kind of random on here again. I have no memory of buying this, but it's in my library, so I did at some point. I must have blacked out during a sale. And it's called Death End Request. So let me again read the description for you on Steam. This is saying that Death End Request takes the classic turn-based RPG and flips it upside down. Switch between the RPG action of the game world and the visual novel segments of the real world. Oh, that sounds interesting. In the realm of game development, it may seem all fun and games until the lines between fantasy and reality begin to blur. And there's also a way to get several bad endings. So it is truly like a visual novel that has like combat. It looks so fun. Oh my god. All of the characters look really pretty. I'm just looking at the clip right now. So the combat looks super fun, and then it has elements of the visual novel, which I love visual novels, as you know. I love Otome. So this sounds really interesting. Like I'm seeing this game for the first time, I know. It is in my library and I haven't played it yet. I would love to hear your thoughts as well, if you have any thoughts on this game. So that's it for all of the RPGs I own digitally that I haven't played yet. Now let's move on to some more Otome games that I own digitally. I'm currently playing 2, so that's already good. So I'm currently playing Nightshade and Cupid Parasite, and I decided to kind of play these simultaneously because they're completely different, and it's what I usually like to do as well when reading books. I like to alternate between a more historical fantasy, more heavy setting versus maybe a more lighthearted, contemporary, I don't know, like for books that like thrillers or romance, you know, stuff like that, to sort of like cleanse your palate a bit. And so that's what I decided to do here. So I finished one route in Nightshade. Nightshade is like super historical. It's set in, I don't know, it's like medieval feudal Japan, basically. Not entirely sure what year it is. And of course it's fictional, but it definitely takes some historical elements. And you follow this group of shinobis, which are kind of like very medieval historical town as well. I think it's called Kyo instead of maybe Kyoto or Tokyo. And you know, it has a lot to do with more like political intrigue as well. So it's very interesting, and I'm really liking this setting too, but you know, it can be a little heavy sometimes and just a lot of information to take in. So I also decided to pick up Cupid Parasite, and oh my god, that one is so much fun so far. I'm really enjoying it. It's super colorful and bright, which actually put me off a little bit at first because I was like, whoa, that's too much. I don't like this, but it's so fun. It really just fits the music, the storyline, everything like ties in really well together. And it's more contemporary setting, although it does have fantasy elements because you are playing as Lynette, like that's the main character, the main protagonist, whatever, and she is literally Cupid. So she is like a goddess. She works as Cupid and she sets people up, so she shoots her arrows from the sky at people, but she's noticing that lately the people that she's setting up will break up like after a month, and she's like, have I lost my spark? And then she finds out that there's actually this organization in the real world, and it's kind of like American setting, and it's called Cupid, and it's setting up people like through more of a like matching, more scientific computer setting. And so she decides to go down there and to work there and kind of see how it works. And then, you know, you have all these different guys that are called the parasites, and they're too difficult. Like people cannot match them with anyone. And so, you know, you can like end up dating them. And it's so fun so far. I'm just having such a good time with this one. So they're really great to play together if you want a little bit of variation. If Nightshade is getting a little too heavy, then for me, Cupid Parasite is there and it's so fun. Then the next one is Birushana. So this is another more historical setting, so more so like Nightshade. Oh, it actually has a longer title. It's Birushana, Rising Flower of Genpei. So this is very historical, and I don't know which parts of it are based on actual real life Japan or if it's all fictional, but it's definitely like a historical setting. So our main character, Shanao, is torn between warring factions and a desire for a peaceful life. 50 years after the Haiji rebellion, the Heike clan has reached the height of its power, while the Genji clan remains devastated by defeat. Hidden deep within the mountains of Kurama lives Shanao, the youngest surviving male heir to the Genji name. Wait, male? However, Shanao... Oh my god! Harbors a deep secret. It's like a Mulan story. I forgot about that. I was like, wait, male? Yeah, that's why I was so excited about this one, because it's a Mulan kind of story where, you know, everyone thinks she's a man, but she's a woman. And she's fighting and everything. And the art just looks so cool, and I've heard really great reviews, so I'm very excited for this one. Next up, we have Piofiore Fated Memories, which I believe is the main first installment of the game that I already talked about, where I have the sequel physically. I have this first one digitally. Then we have two more Otome games I have digitally. The first one is Color X Malice. This is another super classic one. It's a little bit older. Lots of people love this one. I have not played it. I believe it's more... I believe the main character's like... Is she with the police? I don't know. Or she's working together with all of these characters and they're like solving crimes. It's definitely like stuff like that. It's inspired by... Or that's like the main story. I don't really know anything else about it. I'm just very excited to dive into it like this. Not really knowing too much, but I know this is another fan favorite for sure. And then another one that I'm so excited about is Olympia Soiree. I am drawn by the art style of this one. I think the art style is so beautiful, and this is a really interesting setting. So it's a little bit more like fantasy themed, because I believe it's in this kingdom where everyone has their own like color, so it's like a color system. There's definitely, I think, room for discrimination in this one. And then you have the main character, who is, I believe, a princess. Let me look this up before I spread a lot of misinformation actually. So our main character is Olympia. Her entire clan has been wiped out a couple of years ago, so she has been isolated for much of her life. Now she must live on Tengu Island as the only person who can perform a ritual that will restore the sun to a land enveloped in darkness. The heads of each district there, which are red, blue, and yellow, lead a society governed by rigid class structures. Able to travel between the districts, Olympia discovers their wonders and weaknesses. She also finds an entire underground group of shunned, colorless individuals who she becomes determined to help. If she can find a mate who will help her continue her lineage and save the world before it is destroyed, she will reveal to that special someone her heart and her true name. Like, I love that. That sounds so cool. It's kind of like, I don't know, just this is something that I would read in like a fantasy romance novel as well, so I'm very excited. And again, like I said, the art for this is beautiful too. This was just mainly a really fun video for me to make. I have no clue how many of you guys will find this interesting, but I had fun making this, going through all of my collection, because sometimes I just forget about all of the games I own, so it's really nice to just go through them. Definitely encourage you guys to do the same. See like, okay, what game have I forgotten about, but am I really excited to play now? So I still have not really made up my mind, because I'm excited to play all of these. So it's really hard for me to decide, but this is my list, and maybe I'll do another check-in in like a couple of months and we can hold myself accountable and see how many of these I now have played, you know, by that time. But yeah, let me know. I would really love to know what game you would recommend me to pick up first, or just any of your thoughts on any of these games, or of course any games that you would recommend. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.